Scott Emergency Communications Center Board meeting on September 22nd, 2011. Roll call, please.
Claudy, Freemire, Gluba,
here.
O'Boyle,
Here.
Sunderbruch.
Here. Pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move the approval of minutes. There was some discussion whether they're detailed or not, but would you want to explain for the purpose of everyone's here what your understanding is now?
What I need to report is just the actions. Like if they have needing an approval of something and the board would make a motion, that's an action item that would get reported upon. So the only thing I am to put in the minutes are action items.
Any other questions on the minutes? Okay, if not, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimously approved. Director's report. Brian?
It's been a busy month during the last month. We've had several meetings with Wold, CenturyLink, and Raycon in regards to the backup center, and that continues to move along. We're looking at the building design, we're looking at the telephone equipment and linking that up to the SECC building, and also the radio equipment to link that up as well. So that continues. Also, during this last month, we've been working pretty heavily with CenturyLink, which used to be Quest. I had earlier reported some problems with their systems, with some noise on lines and also some problems with volume levels. And so we worked with them last Tuesday. We did a software upgrade at about 2:30 in the morning, and that has resolved those problems. We've also moved the copper lines over to fiber optic lines on 911 lines because we're having too much static and problems. The recording system was gathering too much of that, so that's been resolved at this point as well. So we've made some pretty good progress with CenturyLink. Also during this last, more specifically during this last week, we've had some interference problems hitting our radio systems. And we've been working over those. They were actually coming in only at the nighttime. We're getting some skip traffic coming in from some other agency. And the traffic that we were getting was actually 800 frequency system transmissions. And so it would hit our system and cause it to glitch a little bit from time to time. We had to end up turning on our backup radios. And so Raycon worked that over, and it took us about 2-3 days to be able to work that through, but we're able to work it through. It didn't crash the system, it just made the system freeze up a couple frequencies for a couple seconds at a time. So that has been resolved as of this point as well. A couple late nights working that one over. Also, we've indicated earlier that we had some problems with the implementation of the CAD RMS project. Presently, we have a large group of people that are working to test a new release that was placed out to us on September 15th. We're testing it to make sure that it goes through all the tests and everything works fine before it hits the streets. And that's been taking place all week this week. A few small items have been noted as being problematic, but nothing that is software stopping in regards at all. New World System has been on site to address any of those issues. We expect some resolve to those small issues very shortly here. So not a lot of problems that are being encountered in testing. What we do is we have dispatchers there, we have records people there, we have officers, and we've kind of made an environment like we would out on the street. They actually take it through from entering a call and the dispatcher passing it through to the officer typing up the report, pushing it to records, and then records merging it. So they're actually testing all of those processes at this time. And we've had a fair amount of items that we've been looking at with this system. Of course, we got the software, we've got the system, we got the system at each of the agencies, we have laptop computers, we have air cards, and we also have the human factor involved in implementing this project. I felt that it was best to be able to have a third party come in and take a look at the processes that are taking place in the different systems and items like that, and make recommendations to improvements that we could do in processes and communications and procedural items. We actually have had DeltaWorks on site for the past 2 days. They've interviewed folks at SECC. We've had interviewed folks at New World Systems and the different entities involved in this consolidation. And what we are looking for is a recommendation from them to come back and look at what processes can we improve on. And
is that your third-party overseer?
that is the third party.
And that's
correct. DeltaWorks. DeltaWorks was the agency that helped us to get acquire the system. They've had experience with New World Systems and other agency startups, and they were a good third party to this. And so we felt that with all the different systems that we have, when we've got people pointing fingers at our system and it's us to them, or if it's software related, and then there's also the human factor in this. So we want DeltaWorks to come in here and take a look at all of that and be able to see what they see from the outside and make recommendations to us.
Have they been here this week or?
Yes, yesterday and today, and they just finished up their interviews today, and so we should be getting some assessments back from them in the very near future, and then possibly a quote to be able to continue on to assist us in getting this project on the right track and where it needs to go. And later on, probably early in October, we may call a special meeting with the results of that and some recommendations at that point.
Thank you, Brian. Maybe you could address some of the questions I think Diane raised. We've talked about these in the past, and I know there's things going on to address.
Sure.
Them. Perhaps you could start with the last question. What is considered to be the first day the consolidated dispatch went online?
If you look at all of the agencies involved, that would have been May 3rd. That's when Davenport.
So May 3rd. That's when Davenport was the last one.
That was the last agency, May 3rd.
So that was when, quote, they were all sort of online.
Correct. That's when they were all in the center up and running at that point.
And there are always challenges. As I understand it, you made this very clear from the very beginning. It's going to probably take a year, that date, to work out the bugs. And it may or may not be able to be all worked out without some adjustment. I don't think you've ever said anything different to this group.
Correct.
Is that still the case?
That is still the case.
And that's the way it works all over the country.
Yes.
From your experience at 3 different operations, right?
Correct. Because you've got, when you implement a large, especially the CAD RMS system, anywhere you go, that is typically the largest one because you've got several different agencies using it with several different needs, and you've got the human factor. You do, in my experience, and I see it all over in every single consolidation, you have people that are gung-ho about making this thing work. You've got some people that are resistant to making it work and undermine the process of doing it. Then you also have different systems that are involved in all this. And it does take time to work that through. And in no way am I defending New World Systems. They've had their number of issues that we've been working with. I do believe that they are putting their best foot forward to make this happen. They've had people on site on a weekly basis. Like this week, they've had 3 people on site overseeing the testing processes. They've been aggressively attacking various areas with this, but it does. Every system, as I reported here, same way with radio systems, it takes time to work those bugs out. With the CenturyLink system that I just indicated, or the Positron 911 system, that takes time. It takes about a year to settle all of that stuff out. It's not an overnight item. And when we look at the CAD RMS system in itself, most of the problems that we're encountering in that is with the field operations, the vehicles out in the field with the laptops. Our CAD system is working fairly decent for us. The record system is working. We've got most of them are coming up with the system out in the field, you know, the bandwidth issues and the systems at each of the different agencies. So all of that takes a while to be able to sort out.
Could you perhaps address some of the other questions, legitimate questions, that we've heard these before?
Sure. Number 4, I can't answer to on when Davenport will bring their own system online and an expected date. In regards to Davenport not using the plate checks, that was an agency. That was an agency decision. That was not portrayed to SECC or in any group meetings prior to that.
What do you mean by an agency decision?
So you're not item number 3 now?
Yes, item number 3.
Okay.
They are actually at this point, and I believe within the next few days, they are actually coming back to the next system. If I would have known these questions ahead of time, I could have done a little bit more research. But I did speak with my technology systems coordinator, and I believe she indicated that within the next few days, I believe, that they will be coming online with the checks with NCIC. And the other agencies are using this. This was just an agency-specific decision that they made at that point. Davenport's been using it, Scott County's been using it, we've been using it at the dispatch center. And what was happening is they were getting some information from the state because it's an interface between New World systems in the state. And we're the first system in the state to attach New World systems to the NCIC system. NCIC is the National Crime Information Computer. So what was happening out in the field is that when an officer or dispatcher would run a plate, some of the information wasn't coming back in the same context that it did under the old system. And some people didn't care for that quite as much. There were some programming issues that have been worked on, that New World system has been working on in the state. And that's another item that takes some time to
So you're working with the city of Davenport, as I understand it, to try to work out some things that aren't working as well as they thought or what they're used to.
Correct. We've had ongoing meetings since the implementation of this project. We've had weekly meetings with the CAT-RMS resolution group. Right now we're looking at it and we're trying to break it up into IT-specific areas, mobile-specific areas, reporting-specific areas, and having separate meetings. And then those groups will come back and meet and report to the larger group at that point. So that's ongoing. But that was an agency-specific decision to go back to that at that given point. Number 2, I don't have all of the information with me at hand as to all of the items that would be fixed, but there's numerous items. So I'm sorry, I can't answer that at this point, but there are numerous items that will be resolved with that. Number 1, I'm not receiving the same reporting that you're indicating here. That fix was put into place, and I'm not seeing that agencies upon saving are losing that information, that report, or those complaints haven't been coming to me.
That was based on the KWQC story,
which
was at the end of August, and the 5-4 was the mid of August. So it
was, and it took some time to flush those things out, but I haven't been receiving those. I can certainly report back to you if you'd like, but I've been. That was one of the biggest problems that we had when we implemented this system. Is that an officer would type up a report, and he'd hit save or send it back to the main system, and it was gone. Yeah, I would be. If I was an officer, you bet. I think it's all happened to us when we type up a 2-page report on a Word document, and it didn't save for some reason and you lost it. Yeah, I'd be aggravated.
So that is no longer happening? Or?
Correct. Everything that I've gathered, that has been resolved. That was supposed to be with the PR 5.4 update. And if that was an issue, nobody's reported it in the weekly meetings whatsoever to us. And I do know that was one of their biggest concerns at that point, so I do believe that one is fixed at this point.
Brian, when was it supposed to have been fixed?
When was it supposed to have been fixed?
Yeah, you said it got fixed. It hasn't been a problem since. When was that?
That was in the middle of August that we implemented that hotfix update.
Okay. I'm hearing that some officers are just making very, very, very short reports because it takes too much time. One to get uploaded, the other is then when they lose it, they've lost all the time. So they're actually going through great pains to minimize what's on reports. And if that's the case, then it's not real convenient for the prosecutor to use it either. it's lacking information.
I don't think the system is lacking information. I have,
Reports may be because they are abbreviating them so much, is what I love to believe.
okay, but not due to a system.
No, with the system, but they're abbreviating reports because of the system.
Okay.
Problem is in the past.
That fix that came out was supposed to fix did fix the saving, and it also increased the capability for them to type one
We
reports.
talked about this a couple of weeks, 2 months ago, I think, somewhere.
Yes, that when the issue was at hand, we did speak about it.
Okay, and I'm talking to people that are downstream, that are actually in the seats, that are trying to do this stuff.
Correct.
Is where I'm picking up my experience, where people are laying on me. So I was not led to believe that it was fixed yet, even as of yesterday, the day before. Apparently, there's still some issues
Okay.
down in the field where they're actually utilizing.
Okay, keep in mind that this is not specifically, or may not specifically be a new road system problem. This leads back to the area about the infrastructure. It leads back to the laptop computers, all of their settings, the air cards that are involved in this. What the fix with this, the PR 5.4 fix was supposed to resolve, or did resolve, was the aspect that when they hit the send button, and let's say they dropped out of radio coverage or air card coverage,
Sure.
it was gone. So what they had fixed is they made sure that they did a handshake, that yes, I received it before it was released. So that's what that fixed. Now, if they try to hit send on that, and they're not in air coverage or air card coverage, then that is an issue, but that's not an SECC nor a neural system issue. But I did receive a report from Matt Hurst and Sam Samara this afternoon in regards to things that they've been working on down at Eldridge. They've been going down and working on the IT issues that they've been having.
Don't assume this is just somebody from Eldridge speaking. Don't assume.
Correct, correct.
And I'm not going to pretend to know everything, how the system works, because I don't. And maybe things that have expressed to me different than where fixes it. I don't know how many different things are involved there. I'm just learning all this now. Thank you for your answer on that there one. But downstream, it just seems to me, Brian, that downstream, you got the meetings going where you're at right here. You've got the weekly meetings going to try to resolve these things. But it still seems to continue to be a problem with the guy sitting in the seat trying to use this thing. And I don't know if it's not information coming from there, getting to the middle where the discussion's taking place, or if it's getting minimized where it gets there. What's causing the frustration of the person actually trying to make it work on the streets?
We react.
There seems to be a continuing problem with that. Every time it seems to be fixed, it creates additional problems beyond that.
Sure.
So it's a rolling multiplier.
Okay. And keep in mind that with this, it's not only just the equipment. There's a human factor involved
Sure.
too. We've gone out to your site specifically and re-taught people because they weren't entering the information properly as trained.
Brian,
But don't assume that it's all coming from Eldridge here. Because
No.
I'm talking to people outside of Eldridge.
Okay.
And the theme seems to run the same way, generally.
Brian, presumably you meet with the leadership, but perhaps it's worth having the chief, wherever it is, set up a meeting best he can with his staff, with one of the line officers, and you sit there and try to deal with them directly to see that they're doing what they're supposed to do. I don't necessarily assume the guys at the top got it all figured out. Some of them
Sure.
are probably less literate than I am on this stuff.
We have sent people out there. We've sent the world systems people out there to make sure that they're doing the right thing. Gloria Fitzpatrick.
Maybe
is
you want
out
to
there.
rehash that again, because I hear on
Okay.
was Brian, Claudy, right?
Sure, sure. Okay.
There may be a gap there where the rubber hits the road, and it wouldn't certainly hurt to sit down.
That's where it seems like there's a breakdown somewhere between the weekly meeting things going on and the person in the seat. There's something that's not gelling.
Okay.
That's just my sense. I don't know if it's true or not. That's my sense. There's something that's not coming together.
Yeah, we've heard
Okay.
the same sort of thing to some degree, but not.
Okay. Okay.
But we gotta, with Delta being in here, maybe they would pick that up, wouldn't they? It's gotta be part of the.
Sure, I'm sure that
Depends
some of
on
the
whether
initial.
people are freely able to speak or not. Sure.
Well, anybody can speak. I've said on numerous occasions,
If they don't
that
speak.
if they don't come down here, forever keep your peace. I've said that time and time again. And if the rank and file haven't got the intestinal fortitude to make it clear to their city managers or their chief, then it's their problem. It's their fault. And that can go out wide and clear. So if they got a complaint, they ought to be seeing you in the leadership. And otherwise, they're just blowing hot air. Maybe they're not competent or capable or up to speed on modern technology. I don't know. Right? So have them meet with you, and if they, maybe it's a simple little education they need on the system that they're not getting for whatever reason.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. I agree with Ken.
Yep, that sounds good. That's good.
Okay. That's all, everything I have.
Okay. Any of these that didn't get answered properly, if you want to take them back the next month, we'll talk about them again, because
Sure.
you got 6 more months or so before quote all the bugs are worked out, and it's hopefully sooner, because we don't want to.
I agree. I think all
We
of
don't
us.
want to hinder law enforcement from doing their job because some simple little fix that needs to be taken care of, or a big fix.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay, now we go into closed session to discuss upcoming labor negotiations